Okay, today we have the Star Wars Legion Separatist Stap Riders expansion, also known as Rogers on a Flying Bike. So this comes with 2 guys for a squad, with an optional shaking a fist angry pose, apparently. So let's crack in here and see what we've got. I can't see that these will have much in the way of options, simply because, you know, it's just a gun on a flying bike. Again, we see Legion's penchant for really wasted space. I understand the concept of, you know, generic stuff as far as boxes and packaging, but really, this is a lot of wasted space here, guys. So that'll go with recycling. So we've got the larger bases. Don't think I've seen this size before. Not sure if the bikes use that or not. Can't remember, it's been a while. And let's take a look at what comes with. So obviously we got our tokens, our unit card, agile after you perform a standard move, gain a dodge token. Nice. Their AI is move. Coordinate droid trooper vehicle. After you're issued an order, you may issue an order to a friendly trooper or vehicle at range 1. That's pretty nice. Cover 1 while defending, improve your cover by 1. And their count as a speeder 1, and their cannons have 3 black die. So that's pretty interesting. Critical 1, fixed front. While converting attack surges, change up to 1 result to a critical result. Okay. And they obviously only have fixed front weaponry. So that's nifty. They only accept comlink upgrades. So let's see. We have comlink command control array, vehicle only. And they are repulsor vehicle. When you use coordinate, you can issue an order at range 1 to 2 instead of 1. A couple of those. HQ uplink, we've seen that in a few. Linked targeting array, we've seen that in a few. So, not a whole lot in the card department, which is fine by me. I mean, less options is less stuff for me to have to worry about putting into the army, honestly. And then we've got our flight stands. And 1 sprue. That's all this is 1 sprue. Really? Yeah, I guess. Honestly, I guess $30 isn't that bad of a price, but still, this is very... not a whole lot to this, especially for that size box. Alright, yep, so we've got the same, I believe, flight stands as the droids that I already had. Yep. Give yourself a variation of height. Honestly, looking at these, depending on how tall they actually wind up being, I'd be much more likely to go with the short stand. Having a tall stand, in addition, might be a little unwieldy. And let's take a look at our assembly guide. So the only option we have is obviously the size, and if we want the ARG pose. Now it says one's a leader and one's a regular. Other than having the raised fist, not exactly sure how you would tell those apart. They look pretty much identical to me. See the leader assembly, we have head, antenna, legs, pilot. Okay, the pilot has a backpack antenna. That's why it's hard to see with these, but the pilot has a backpack antenna as opposed to the strapped on tiny antenna, which, okay. And then nothing on the back here. Alright. So, let us move on to assembly. Okay, so let's do our assembly here. Alrighty. Let's just start with the leader. So apparently the leader is B, the other guy is C. And then we have the individual vehicles, which are identical. Which is amusing that it doesn't really have much of an assembly guide on these. Alright, so our handy clippers. I'll just start clipping out one of the units. The quality on these is quite good as far as the miniatures themselves. Generally don't have any problem with mold lines or anything like that. At least since the got away from the Clone Wars starter, everything's on sprues as opposed to a baggie with pre-punched out pieces, which is kind of annoying for those of us that like to be in charge of our own clipping. I do find that that cuts down on problems if I am. Interesting. Okay, so let's remove some of these clipping points. There's that two little dots on the side that I have to remind myself are not from the clippers. The front of that's fine. Yeah, I mean, the quote-unquote instructions are very light on actual instruction. I've been finding that with the more recent ones. They've been kind of slacking off on that. And if you're going to go through all the trouble of printing a sheet anyway, I mean, the entire backside of this instruction, as we saw, is completely wasted. Put something on there. Just clean these up a bit. And I'll just build the one on camera because these are all but identical. I did get 2 boxes of these just so I'll have a couple squads in the hope that eventually I will return to playing as opposed to being in the house the whole time. And if not, I always enjoy assembling miniatures anyway. So I'm going to guess that the 2 halves go together first. And it does say assembly instructions available online. That's just kind of a cop-out to me. I mean, who wants to pull up assembly instructions on their phone or something? You guys are putting out a perfectly good sheet. But let's go ahead and put that stuff on there. Alright, so I guess that slides like that. And looking at this, yes, the little plain piece, little ridges are in there. While I was out, I did check to see if they had a copy of the GW Cursed City that everyone's freaking out over right now. Mostly just to alleviate my own sense of FOMO on it. But of course, the one shop I went to for this, they always have good stock of Legion. Didn't have any, so Alright, the top just kind of pops in there. And again, I'm using some Citadel plastic glue on this simply because I find the plastic glue on plastic does work a little better. You know, it melts it a little bit. Alright, this is a nice snug fit, I will say that. You could almost not bother gluing. So we have our little teeny tiny thing. So that little ball socket there is where the flight stand will link. I still think the lower one will be better. These are pretty tiny. Okay, so let's go ahead and build ourselves the optional leader with the shaking fist, because I find that hilarious. So we're going to need all of the bees, it looks like. Ah, I see. So only one of the handlebars set. The one with only one pair of hands attached. Seriously, you have 2 backpacks on here? Huh. I guess they just decided to have 2 backpacks. I mean, because it's not like the unit can be increased in size to where you want to make each of them a non-leader model. So that's a little odd. Ugh. Alright. So, just over a year ago, I was fortunate enough to go to Beasts of War's shop out in Ireland just before the coronavirus hit back in December of 2019. And I went for their Legion weekend, and so I assembled a lot of B1 droids. I said it then, I may have said it in previous videos as well. Whoever designed these damn heads as 2 parts should be shot. I mean, seriously, they a sadist or what? And I can see no value to having them as a 2-part head. It's not like there's optional back ends of the heads. Ugh. Infuriating. I'm sure there is a perfectly good reason, but I mean, look at how tiny that head is. It's so easy to lose it. Alright. One nice thing about the B1s, though, is the fact that the legs, especially, are tab sockets. So you can see, maybe, it's very small. Here, let me refocus this bad boy. So you can see right there, it's angled, so it'll only fit one way. And when using something that's going to wind up mounting to a bike in a particular way, that's extremely useful. So that I do appreciate, but I will still never forgive the heads. Simple, like 4 squads of those damn things. So annoying. But yes, I am looking forward to things getting back to normal, or as normal as they're ever going to be with the changes due to everything. I've done my part to ensure that I can return to the outside world in as healthy a means as possible. I'm just waiting for our local stores to reopen their gaming spaces, at least the one I like to go to. We are actually fortunate enough to have 3 local stores and 1 GW store as well, so a total of 4. We did have a 5th one, but it unfortunately did not survive the pandemic. So that was a shame. But I'm looking forward to the others reopening their game space. the largest one we have at least is still closed. So that's, actually let me think. No, we do have 4 plus the GW store still. We used to have 5 plus the GW store. I live in an area with a lot of colleges, so there's a lot of people to support the various stores. Alright, Mr. Roger Rogers' head can dry there. A little bit of glue for his antenna here. Move that little burr off the side. I'll put the head on last once I angle everything. Let's go ahead and mount the hands, well, the handlebar anyway, with one hand. And we can look at mounting him to the feet. So the handlebar just pops right in there. Let's see. So his feet do kind of sit on that. So a bit of cleanup on the underside there. Alright, there. So doing the head last will enable me to position it appropriately, and then for the arms, I'm going to do those once he's in his position here, so that'll let me line things up correctly. So there, you can see without the arms, the throttles or foot pedals, whatever they are, they latch in pretty nicely. Again, the plastic glue really sets nice and melts it down a bit. So now while that dries a little, punch out the arms we want. So E7 here. And what's the other one? 9. Because these, unlike the legs, are ball and socket, so they have some free mobility at the shoulder joint. So it's much easier to mount them once it is off the, mounted on the bike itself. So a little bit of glue on the hand and on each of the shoulders there. Because I get glue everywhere it's not supposed to be. You know what? They lied. That's not number 9. Oh, 9 is the option to 6. That's what they're meaning by having it in the same bubble there. And that just means that 6 is the correct one. Duh. It is the IKEA method of building a model, though. Glue dried a bit too quick, so a bit too. That's the arm to connect. There we go. And then a little shaking fist in the air, which I think looks hilarious. Since I do have two squads, I'll do the other squad without it, because we don't need two. And there, see, we give him a little angle, like he's looking in the direction he's shaking his fist. And there we go. So that is the stat. Let me give you a little bit of a better view there. So yeah, nice and simple design. Goes together pretty easily, as you saw. But will definitely be interesting to transport. I will probably mount him to a toothpick or something like that for painting on the mount point there. Because as with the droids, and toothpick will be good, I'll have to get a bunch of those. But as with the droids, I don't want to mess up the flight stand. You can also use the flight stand that I'm not planning on using to go ahead and just do that for painting, but I'm not going to be overly worried about that yet. But yes, so I have 3 more of these to build, but for now I will leave you guys, and I should have some more Fallout painting streams this week, and we'll see what else we've got.